Yo, so guys, welcome back to another video. This is part 2 of the reaction of 101 differences between the UK and the USA, British versus American. And I've reacted to part 1, or like the first 51 actually. I've not actually seen 52, but obviously it's popped up. And yeah, obviously you can watch that reaction if you click on my channel and you find it there, or click in the description. It should pop up somewhere if I remember to do it. I'm bad at remembering to do things, but that should be there for those interested in seeing part 1. But yeah, before we get into this, quick shout out. I keep saying quick shout out. It's not a quick shout. Shout out to the Wandering Ravens, the people who made this video. Show them some love in the comments or subscribe to their channel. They deserve it. You seem to be enjoying the reactions to their channel, so I would appreciate that. And I mean, yeah, before we get into this, my Patreon link's in the description for those interested. Got a lot of Patreon exclusive videos there. Same for my Instagram and my Twitter, links in the description for those. Closing in on 6K on Instagram, so I'd appreciate that. But let's just get into this, man. No more talking.
Red squirrels, unfortunately, because they're adorable. If you'd like to see a long list of all the British animals that the United States does not have, make sure you click the link right here or down in the description.
In the UK, it's common to hear the words stood or sat used in the past tense. For example, I was sat there for an hour, or I was stood in the bus line. In the bus line? No, that's wrong. I was stood in the queue for 20 minutes. In the USA, we would never use these words that way. Instead, we would say, I was standing in the line for 20 minutes, or I was sitting in traffic for an hour.
During our time in the UK, we've had the pleasant experience of being accosted with the phrase, "You got a problem?" on more than one occasion. This is a difference because in the United States, if someone wanted to communicate the same sentiment, they'd be much more likely to say, "What are you looking at?" instead of, "You got a problem?" Of course, the classic comeback to, "What are you looking at?" is, "Not much."
Or, I haven't figured it out yet. Spurtles. Now this is something we've seen in British households as well as in British home goods stores. In the US, we do not have spurtles, although I'm determined to have one in my own home one day.
In America, we use measuring cups, whereas here in the UK, most recipes assume that you're going to be weighing things on a scale.
In the USA, it is almost always illegal to park your car against the flow of traffic. We know this because we did it once and received a parking ticket. In the UK, however, it seems to be okay to park your car facing in whichever direction you please.
In general, home addresses are much shorter in the UK than in the USA.
And speaking of addresses, when you mail a letter in the US, you will write the return address on the same side as the destination address. Whereas in the UK, you will write the return address on the opposite side as the destination address.
Another mail difference is where you post things. In the UK, it's common to call post boxes pillar boxes because they resemble pillars.
Never called it that.
In the United States, we call these things mail boxes because they resemble boxes.
And pillar boxes are red, while mailboxes are blue.
Tragically, genuine haggis is banned in America on account of it containing sheep's lung. And haggis is only one thing on a long list of British foods that are banned in the United States. If you want to learn more about banned British foods, make sure you click the link right here or down in the description to watch our video on that topic.
In the UK, you can eat anything on toast. In the US, however, the
beans on toast, baby. Yes, please.
For toast are butter, peanut butter, jam, or Nutella.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'll have them as well happily. I'll have them happily. I have them 99 times out of 100, more times than beans on toast. But when it comes to beans, I've not actually had beans on toast since I've lived in this new place. Before that, when I didn't have as much, like I didn't have any money and I was just sort of living, just sort of trying to live the cheap life or just getting by. Beans on toast was the go-to, man. Cheap beans, 30p. Bread, I mean, you've got 2 bits of bread. You butter it, and oh my god, bit of eggs cheap as well, mate.
Not all at once, of course.
Oh my god.
Speaking of bread, not only can you put anything you want on toast, you can also put anything you want in a sandwich. For example, we've heard that chip butties and mashed potato butties are very popular in the UK.
Mashed potato butties, no.
However, I've never heard of anyone putting fries or mashed potatoes in a sandwich.
Mashed potato in a sandwich.
Pancake Day is celebrated by many in the UK. Across the pond, however, in the US, we do not have this tradition, although this is definitely a tradition I could get behind.
Let's do a pancake day, yeah?
More pancakes,
Deal?
please. Deal. It is a new tradition in the Raven household.
Burning effigies is a fairly common practice in the UK, especially on bonfire night. Meanwhile, across the pond, burning effigies is considered akin to a hate crime and is very distasteful.
Jelly and ice cream, or as we would call it, Jell-O and ice cream, is a common childhood dessert in the UK. In the US, I've never heard of this combination
I used to
before.
like it.
Yorkie
It was
bars
banging.
are banned in the USA because Hershey's produces a candy called York Peppermint Patties, and they were concerned that people might get the names confused.
Speaking
wow.
of banned treats, toffee crisps are also banned in the USA.
What? Toffee? I'm not at the age. I used to love these. Oh my god. I used to
On
love
account
toffee
of
crisps.
the branding looking remarkably
Oh, well, that is true. To be fair, it is very true. It tastes nothing alike, and Reese's does top it. I'm not gonna lie, Reese's is banging, but that is an interesting one. Why couldn't they just change the branding look in the US? I don't know. Maybe there's just similar ones in the US as well.
similar to Reese's peanut butter cups.
Now let's talk about the class system.
It's the eggs! They're not organic!
The class systems in the UK and USA are fairly different, especially when it comes to how we talk about them. For example, in the UK, the middle class is always the butt of the joke, derided, and no one wants to admit to being middle class. In the USA, on the other hand, the middle class is kind of idolized, and we all want to be middle class. Another class difference is that it is a lot more difficult to class climb here in the UK. That's because class here has a lot more to do with what school you went to and who your parents are than it is about money. In the US, on the other hand, class is really only about money. So in the United States, you can be working class, but start a successful business and jump to upper class rather quickly.
And speaking
Oh, wow.
of working class and upper class, in the US we don't use those phrases. We just have low income, middle class, and the rich.
The rich. Now let's
Wow,
talk about
there's
how
so
to
many more
figure
terms
out
here.
what class someone is in. Again, in the United States, this is really easy. Just look at their paycheck. How much money do they make? In the UK, your name can betray your social class. Certain names are considered upper class and others working class. But in the United States, anyone can be named anything regardless of class.
Another betrayer of what social class you are in is your accent. In the UK, you can often tell which social class someone falls into simply by their accent,
Yeah.
whereas in the States, this is not the case. Anyone from anywhere can have whatever accent and be in whichever
That's a
class.
very good point, man. That's a really, really good
Another
point.
indicator of class is vocabulary. For example, what do you call the smallest room of the house? This can indicate which class you fall in.
Smallest room in my house is probably my kitchen. My kitchen is tiny, so it's the kitchen for sure.
This doesn't translate over to the United States, where people can use whatever words, and it's not an indicator of what
Wait,
class they're
was he actually asking me a question, or was I just being stupid?
Shopping. In the UK, all the supermarket chains seem to stock the same brands and products as their competitors.
For example, because Grace is lactose intolerant, we have to buy lactose-free milk. But we can only find a single brand, and every store we go to stocks the same exact brand. There's not multiple options. This applies to cereal, household goods, soap, all sorts of things. Most stores seem to stock the
It is true,
exact
man.
same item, just at different price points.
This is different from the United States, where there is a wide selection of different brands.
The definition of the word quite. Here in the UK, quite is often used to mean fairly. How was the movie? It was quite good. It was fairly good. But across the pond, Americans use the word quite as a synonym for very. So when an American says something was quite good, they mean it was very good.
Really?
As you can imagine, this can
wild.
lead to some
That's
awkward
wild.
moments between Brits and Americans, and so to be careful, I've made sure to remove the word quite from my vocabulary completely.
In the USA, chocolate is the most popular flavor of ice cream, whereas in the UK, vanilla is the most popular ice cream flavor.
Wow.
Sudden nudity. Here in the UK, we've watched a lot of shows and movies where nudity suddenly appears as if it's a normal part of life. In the US, you always know when a show is going to contain nudity because there are lots of indicators that it's going to be that kind
To be
of.
fair, there is like warnings before certain shows or certain films that sort of describes what's going to happen. Oh, you can't watch this. If you, I don't know, it just gives the disclaimer. That's the word.
Show. TV comedy. In American TV, comedic characters generally have good intentions. Yeah, they may fumble around a bit, but by the end of the episode, everything generally works out okay. Everyone's happy. The music is happy. It's bright. It's colorful, and we're having a grand old time.
Not in the UK.
Meanwhile, across the pond, British comedies tend to feature characters that are twisted. They have bad intentions usually. They're
Just want to cause absolute chaos,
not very
man.
likable, and everything goes goes to shit. If you're an American watching British TV for the first time, this can come as a big shock, especially when the episode ends and all the characters are worse off than when it started. We're not saying that this is a bad thing, it's just a big difference in the overall tone of each country's TV comedy. That said, we actually prefer British comedy and get way more laughs out of things like Peep Show than we do out of American shows like
Peep Show.
Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Military
I love the Peep Show
adverts.
so much.
While in the UK, military adverts tend to focus more on self-improvement and how joining is going to make you a better person. In the US, they tend to really
There's a really like famous advert in the UK. It's like born in a small city but made in the Royal Navy kind of thing. It's sort of like, I guess all military adverts are trying to get you sort of wanting to join and make yourself better or whatever. But I'm just gonna go back. Maybe I'll react to like just a quick advert after this just so people can know. But I don't know if it'll get blocked or not. But what they say about the US ones, I'm interested.
self-improvement and how joining is going to make you a better person. In the US, they tend to really sell the idea of combat. Like, if you want to be a badass, join the army.
Oh man.
Yes.
In the UK, many families come together at the end of the week for the big Sunday roast. In the USA,
I wish, man. I wish. It's not like that. I mean, for some families probably, but for me it's not. Although I wish I could have a Sunday roast every Sunday. That would be the best, man. I love roast, man. I love
food
them so
traditions
much.
tend to be family-based. So while a family may have the tradition of having pizza every Friday night or Chinese takeout on Sunday, we don't have an equivalent to the UK's nationwide Sunday roast. Speaking of Sunday roast, we recently attempted to make our very first Sunday roast ever, complete with Yorkshire puddings. If you want to watch us fail at that, make sure you click the link here or in the description.
Boxing Day. Nobody in the States seems to celebrate Boxing Day. In fact, until this year, we didn't even know what Boxing Day included. Like, what do you do on Boxing Day?
That's bollocks is something we do not say in the USA. In fact, we didn't even know what a bollock was until we came to the UK. I'm still not entirely sure. Is it a vegetable? And why do dogs have them?
Brits say, do you want a cuppa, without specifying tea, because it's implied that tea is what you're going to be getting. Americans, on the other hand, would say, do you want a cup of tea or do you want a cup of coffee? They wouldn't assume your drink of choice because it's very mixed in the States, and most people take coffee.
In both the USA and the UK, the jury is still out when it comes to the article the before a location. For example, in the USA, we would say, I'm going to church, without the article the, but we would never say, I'm going to hospital, like the Brits do.
Chutes and ladders in the USA is called snakes and ladders in the UK.
that's different
Either
as
way,
well.
the game is rubbish.
True.
I hate that game
I
so
hate
much.
that game. It's so pointless.
As a general rule, in the US you have the right to get angry if you order a cold drink and it comes without ice in it. The opposite is true here in the UK. I think this is likely due to how drinks here don't have unlimited refills.
Yeah, so if somebody gave you ice, it'd be like they're ripping you off of your one drink.
You're trying to steal my money?
We're like, half of this is ice. What are you thinking? City name pronunciation. There are a lot of cities in the UK and USA with the same names. And this is because immigrants from the UK traveled to the New World and then became parts of cities and named those cities after their old home cities. In many cases, the American city is pronounced differently than the British one. So for example, you guys have Birmingham in the
Oh
UK.
my god, that's true. Is it like Birmingham or something?
Whereas in the US, we have Birmingham, Alabama.
Birmingham.
Oh, that sounded good. Whiskey, Irish. I can't do it.
Whiskey. Irish.
Wow, you could be a proper Birmingham bloke.
This is our Peaky Blinders impressions.
I'll throw you in the cup.
I'll cut you
I'll cut you.
from this family.
Linda.
In the USA, we have a couple dozen ways to say that someone is drunk. For example, buzzed, hammered,
Smashed.
groggy, and wasted. But this doesn't even come close to the UK's variety of drunk slang, which numbers in the hundreds. If you want to hear a list of our favorite 100 ways to say drunk in the UK, make sure
100?
you click the link here or in the
Shit-faced.
description.
In the US, pastry refers to sweet desserts like bear claws, danishes, or cinnamon rolls. In the UK, pastry refers more to a bready substance that can serve many different purposes. You can wrap sausages or many other savory goods in pastry.
If you want to get someone's attention with the intent to cause harm, here in the UK, you'll yell, "Oi!" Whereas in the US, you'll yell, "Hey!"
Marmite. In the UK, you either love it or hate
Marmite.
it.
Oh my. I love meat. Bro, Marmite is the best. I've already said this at the start of the last video, but Marmite is just. It is clear, man. It is. I'm sorry. I just love Marmite so much.
In the USA, we simply don't have it.
We also don't have pork pies, which is either a good thing or a
hate
bad
pork
thing,
pie.
depending
I
on
hate
what
pork
you
pies.
think about eating unsweetened, greasy jelly. Or
It's
as we call
disgusting.
it,
It's
Jell-O.
disgusting.
Another food you will
Boy,
not
it's
find in
rank.
the USA is mushy peas. The first time we were
Never
served
had
mushy
mushy
peas, we were
peas.
actually shocked because they tasted like mint.
Yeah, it's a very interesting combination of flavors.
Confusion.
Not bad, but interesting. In the UK, words that end in RE, like center or fiber, are spelled like this. In the United States, they're spelled
The R and the
like
E is
this.
yeah, different.
When it comes to religion, contemporary, non-denominational, charismatic, evangelical churches are a lot more common and prevalent in the US than they are in the UK. On the other hand, high church denominations are a lot more common here in the UK than they are in the US.
There are a few places in the UK where talking with strangers is considered okay. For example, when we were in Northern Ireland, we had a number of perfect strangers engage us in spontaneous conversation on the street, and one gentleman who engaged us in spontaneous conversation in a coffee shop that lasted for over 40 minutes. But in most parts of the UK, talking with strangers in this way is considered rude and a bit intrusive, whether that be on the street, in a coffee shop, or on the tube. In most parts of the USA, on the other hand, engaging strangers in conversation is perfectly acceptable.
In the USA, you cut in line. In the UK, you jump the
Skip.
queue.
In
Jump the
both
queue.
countries, doing this will likely result in your death.
Oi! Hey!
In the UK, we've found that it's not uncommon to hear someone refer to themselves in the plural sense. For example, give us a hug, or let's have a look, instead of saying, let me have a look. The best-selling crisps in the UK are, number 1,
Walkers.
cheese and onion, number 2, salt and vinegar,
Oh, the flavors. Which one? The
and
brand.
number 3, ready salted. Meanwhile, across the pond,
Such basic ones. In the US, it's gonna be like fucking pickled parsley. I just don't know. Just barbecued banoffee pie. Just the craziest
in
combos.
America, the most popular chips are, number 1,
Flaming hot, cheese, and barbecue ribs.
plain salted chips.
Oh.
Number 2, barbecue, and number 3, sour cream.
Okay, I was pretty off
onion.
actually.
I'm
I thought the US ones were gonna be like crazy.
Surprised there wasn't sea salt and vinegar.
Me too, that is my favorite chip. Real quick, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this channel and ring the bell for weekly British culture.
Again, shout out to them, man. Honestly, if you haven't already, check the channel, show them some love in the comments because I really did enjoy this one. But now we can see the comments in this one, man. Did they just say American tea was better than British tea? Deport them now. Knocking someone up means to make someone pregnant in the UK as well. I didn't even know that. I'm pretty sure to knock someone up means to make them pregnant in the UK too. You know that lemon and ginger fusions are not tea, right? It always makes me smile when I think that the UK you post something and it's carried by the Royal Mail, but in the US you mail a letter and it's carried by the United States Postal Service. As Eddie Izzard would say, in America you say herbs, in the UK we say herbs because there's a fucking H in it. Bollocks. When we got to the UK, we didn't even know what a bollocks was. Yep, that's going to be fun. I didn't know there's knock up term. That's bollocks was the best issue for years. Not too bad or alright could mean anything from severely maimed to the same day as you run out of tea to the best day ever. 2 ovens are great for cooking roast dinners when you might want different foods, cooked different temperatures. I've never been to a place with 2 ovens, other than my grandparents. Again, I think, but I don't even know if that's true. That's where Eric said across the pond 101 times in this video. I enjoyed this, sir. Again, honestly, I do like these comparison videos, and I mean, hopefully you do as well. You seem to enjoy the last one, so I'm assuming you enjoy this one. Again, watch part 1 before you watch part 2. I've said this at the end of the video. Watch part 1 if you haven't seen it already, because this obviously was part 2. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Until next time, like, subscribe. Peace.